All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. It's Pastor Dow. For about 1 month now, people have been blowing up my inbox in reference to a lot of these discussions and debates that have been going on the internet. And I think that one of them was with the Elder Ricard and James White. Elder Ricard, an Israelite, James White, a Christian. And then, and of course, then there's the Christians. I think what they're doing is they're trying to make a last-ditch effort to do whatever they can to try to recover as many people from fleeing the sinking ship of the lies of Christianity as they can possible. And it's evident because now they've done enlisted somebody by the name of Vocab Malone, I think his name is, or something like that. So anyway, I watched maybe about 4 or 5 videos, not enough to be able to draw a conclusion, but I heard enough to know where a lot of these people's perspectives are coming from. Now, I want y'all to understand that even though I do not agree with the religion of Christianity, its dogmas and its tenets, that does not mean that I do not believe in Christ. As a matter of fact, I probably believe in Christ more than the majority of you do. And that's evident in the obedience and the lifestyle that I live. And I'll just leave it at that. Israelites, I want you to all to understand, you're dealing with people of an alternate conscience. These people are experts in their church doctrine and dogma. That's not to mean, nor is that to say by any stretch of imagination that what they're presenting is true. History is replete with Gnosticism. It's replete with lies, warped perceptions, and deceptions. And you're not going to get people who are Christian in mindset, who actually derive the majority of that doctrine, not from the historical fact that Yahweh has a chosen people, a certain people that comes from one family, and that family is above all the families on the face of planet Earth. They don't want to go there. Because they want to skip past the history and just deal with their church fathers. Now, the last time I checked, their church fathers and their perspectives is not contained within those 66 books that are written in the King James Version of the Bible or any other versions that you ascribe to and you want to use. That's why I say over and over and over again, my church fathers consist of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, David, Solomon, Jesus, Matityahu, Marcus, Saul. I can go on and on. And my church fathers, the law and the prophets, Moses and the prophets, they wrote a lot of books. Moses wrote Bereshit, Shemon, Laikra, Bamidbar, and Davarim. And then we have the books of Melachim, Yezekiel, Yesiyahu, Jeremiah. We can go on and on and on, all right, with our church fathers, the Hebrew church fathers. And you have to understand, these Christians, they are not going to ever approach any debate or any discussion with you from the Hebraic perspective because it comes from their church fathers. I think the problem that a lot of people don't understand about the church fathers is this: the Marcion, the Tertullians, the Ignatius, the Alexandrian, all of these people. I think what people don't understand is that these church fathers and what they ascribe to and what they believe, number one, they all disagreed with each other. So therefore, just the conflict alone let you know that there's nothing you can really truly sink your teeth into that you can say they are an authoritarian figures or not, because they really truly are not. And then these church fathers have been translated, or let me use the word translated, again and again and again. So what we have today is we have this pseudo-European perspective that's coming from basically the 1600s that are telling us what allegedly these church fathers says, like Polycarp and all the rest of them. And the truth is, they didn't say it. What you have is pensmanship. You remember what Jeremiah talked about, the pensmanship of the scribes and how they have written a lot of things in vain? That's what we got going on today. And when these people approach you, they're not going to approach you from a historical perspective that Yahweh has a people called Israel that comes from the 12 tribes of Jacob, because in their theology and in their dogma, they automatically practice this replacement theology. They automatically just assume that when you say church, that they're included, not knowing that anybody in this world, if they're ever going to become a believer, and so, all Israel must be saved, you've got to come by way through the salvation of the Yehudim. They're not going to do that. So you need to understand their perspectives and what they're doing. I personally, unless we can agree upon some of the historical facts, what we're going to talk about, and the approaches that we would make, I wouldn't even discuss anything to them, because, if you ask them a question, they're not going to answer. They're going to keep on dodging, and they're going to keep asking you questions, trying to confuse the very question that you asked from the very beginning. I did see, I think, a part of it, an interview where there's this young man by the name of Divine Prospect. Now, I can tell you right now, by listening to Divine Prospect, James White or Vocab Malone, none of them don't want anything to do with Divine Prospect, because that young man, and when I say little, I don't mean nothing disrespectful at all, because he is a little man. That's not to demean him or impugn his character in any way, shape, fashion, or form. But I would say this: that young man is a scholar. That young man, when he starts breaking down the history and telling you what the history means, you can believe it, at least from what I've heard. I don't have anything to say. Truthfully be told, I really truly don't have anything to say against anybody in the Hebrew Israelite community. I know that there are different perspectives, different persuasions. People believe different things, and that's the reason why I think that things ought to be vigorously discussed. We can be objectively disagreeable in a lot of things, and I'm sure that we are in this earth as is. But, there comes a time and point, case in point, that some way, somehow, we're going to have to exercise the unity of the faith, and this unity is only going to come is when people lay down their personal opinions that they're touting as doctrinal truth, their own ideologies and theologies. We got to be willing to come to the table. I got a debate coming up, and it's going to be in Fairfax, Virginia, and I'm going to bring up all the information coming up, and it's over biblical marriage. I'm debating a pastor by the name of David Roberts. I think he calls his name Rayah Dawid Roberts. So whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I think it's going to be a very healthy discussion. I think it's going to be a vigorous dialogue and a vigorous debate. And I want you all to understand that all that Pastor Dow cares about is the truth and getting to the truth. There are a lot of things that we have all traditionally believed that there is literally no truth to whatsoever at all. We've been had. We must admit that. We literally have been had. But these Christians, the only reason why they want to get you on the map out there, or so to speak, you'll be the one putting them on the map, is because they're suffering great losses because of the truth that you're bringing when y'all bringing these scriptures. Elder Ricard is a respected elder in the Hebrew Israelite community. And I think he does a very good job on a lot of things. There's some things I just simply don't ascribe to, but I don't let that be a point of contention or a point of dissension. I really don't in any one of them. I am passionate for truth, and that's nothing personal. If I disagree with anyone on any particular perspective and stuff, now some people choose to make it personal. That's their prerogative. It's totally up to them. If I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. They may be my enemy, but I don't have any enemies. And the one thing we definitely got to stop in the community is all this bearing false witness. He said, she said, I heard, and just totally disregarding Torah. We can't prosper as the people like that. We just no way, shape, fashion, or form. But I wouldn't give them the time of day, because they are deceivers. They are the fork-tongued serpents that you read about in the book that the apostles, the emissaries, often warn us about. And they are not ever going to deal with the facts of the Bible. They want to use what they call the church fathers and then use that dogma and these crazy doctrines that come from all these so-called European scholars and try to redefine the Holy Scriptures. They have a community, and I think that you ought to let them be in their little community. They're only trying to bring about a disturbance with the truth that you already represent and know, you don't have to answer to them. I wouldn't answer to them. Matter of fact, they're not Hebrews. They ain't even really truly worthy to be on a radio interview with you at all, period. So unless that they can actually agree to the debate thesis that you want, I wouldn't even have a discussion with either one of them, because, I mean, these are deceptive devils. You think about this. What they'll do is they'll befriend you and act like they really truly care about you and all this other stuff, and they're really truly concerned. Then when they get on their shows, they rip you apart and tear you apart based on their Christian doctrine and their Christian dogma. And these are the devils that they really truly are. And it's just a fact, they are just devils. And I'm not interested in making no league with no deceiver whatsoever at all. And I think that you would do well to actually follow my lead and actually understand and comprehend exactly what's going on. Preach the word. And do it tactfully. Learn and understand what apologetics mean and use it in order to gain anybody who has the ears to hear. But anyway, this is Pastor Dow. That's my perspective, point of view. I wouldn't even waste my time with some of these people. I just really, truly wouldn't, because their scholarly is something that's right in their own eyes, and they're not ever going to deal with the actual Messiah, the Mashiach, the Christ. And remember, and anybody that denies that Yahshua HaMashiach or Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, this is the spirit of Antichrist, and it is the spirit of error. Shalom.